I want you to picture two people sitting across from the same credit card statement. The first person earns $78,000 a year, 4 maxed out cards, combined balance of $23,000, minimum payments totaling $680 every month. They've been making those payments for 3 years. They've paid over $8,000 in that time. Their balance has barely moved. They lie awake at night doing math that never works out. Every unexpected expense, a flat tire, a doctor visit, a broken appliance, goes straight back onto the cards. They're not digging out of the hole. They're maintaining it. The second person was in the exact same position 18 months ago. Same income range. Same debt load. $0 in savings. Today, 3 of those 4 cards are paid off. The 4th will be gone in 4 months. They didn't get a raise. They didn't get an inheritance. They didn't file for bankruptcy. They learned something that most financial advice never teaches you. Getting out of maxed out credit card debt with nothing in the bank is not a math problem. It's a sequencing problem. And most people are solving it in the wrong order, which is exactly why they never escape. Today, I'm going to walk you through the exact sequence that actually works when you have no money, significant card debt, and 0 room for error. This isn't about budgeting harder. You've already tried that. This is about understanding why the standard advice fails people in your exact situation and what to do instead. Let's start with the thing nobody tells you that changes everything. Paying off debt with no money doesn't start with paying off debt. It starts with stopping the bleeding. Most people in this situation go straight to the payoff plan. They pick a card, throw every spare dollar at it, feel motivated for 3 weeks, and then the car needs brakes, or the electricity bill spikes, and they're back to 0. Sometimes negative. They borrowed from the card they just paid down to cover the emergency. The debt didn't shrink, it just moved. Here's what's actually happening. Maxed out cards with no savings creates a trap with one specific mechanism. Every financial shock, even small ones, gets absorbed by credit. The credit absorbs it, the balance grows, the minimum payment grows, and the margin you needed to pay down debt shrinks further. You're not bad with money. You're caught in a loop that's designed to perpetuate itself. Breaking the loop requires one thing before anything else. A $1,000 firewall. Not a full emergency fund. Not 3 months of expenses. $1,000. That's it. Before you pay an extra dollar toward any card, you find $1,000 and you park it somewhere you won't touch it. A separate savings account with no debit card attached. Name it Do Not Touch if that helps. That $1,000 is not savings. It's a circuit breaker. It exists to absorb the next financial shock without sending it to your credit card. One flat tire, one urgent prescription, one broken appliance no longer resets your entire progress. The loop has a way out now. How do you find $1,000 with nothing in your bank account? That's Rule 1. Rule 1. Sell before you sacrifice. Your first $1,000 doesn't come from spending less. It comes from converting what you already own into cash. Most people sitting in $20,000 of credit card debt are surrounded by thousands of dollars of sellable items they no longer notice. To walk through your home right now with one question. What would someone pay for this tomorrow? Electronics you've replaced but kept. Furniture you moved to the spare room. Clothes worn twice, then forgotten. Exercise equipment that holds laundry. Gaming consoles from 2 generations ago. Kitchen appliances still in their boxes. Tools from projects that never happened. A $200 item here and a $150 item there feels trivial. But 8 items averaging $125 each is $1,000. That's your circuit breaker funded in one weekend without touching your income at all. The psychology of this matters. You didn't cut anything. You didn't sacrifice anything. You converted dead weight into a financial tool. That shift in how you see your situation changes what feels possible next. Rule 2. Attack interest, not balance. Here's where most payoff strategies fail people with no breathing room. They focus on the balance. Pay off the smallest balance first. Build momentum. Classic advice. Fine strategy if you have margin. Devastating strategy if you don't. When you're maxed out with no savings, interest is your actual enemy. Every month you carry $23,000 at an average of 24% APR. You're adding roughly $460 in new interest charges. That $460 is pure destruction. It adds to your balance. It increases your minimum payment. It makes every dollar you pay worth less. Before you accelerate any payoff, call every card. Every single one. Ask for an emergency hardship rate reduction. These exist. They're not advertised. You have to ask. Say these exact words. I'm committed to paying off this balance and I'm asking for a temporary interest rate reduction to help me do that without missing payments. About 70% of the time, they say yes. Reductions from 24% to 9% are common. That cuts your monthly interest damage nearly in half. Next, look at balance transfer cards with 0% introductory periods. If your credit score is above 580, options likely exist. Moving even $5,000 of high-interest debt to a 0% card for 18 months means every dollar you pay goes to principal, not interest. Principal. That's the difference between real progress and treading water. You are not renegotiating from weakness. You are redirecting what was going to the bank toward zero. Rule 3. Generate before you cut. Standard debt advice tells you to cut expenses first. Find the subscriptions, cancel the dinners out, stop the small luxuries. The math makes sense on paper. The psychology destroys people in practice. Radical restriction creates rebound spending. You white-knuckle your budget for 6 weeks, feel deprived, have one bad day, and spend $200 you don't have on something that felt deserved. The debt gets worse. The guilt makes the next restriction harder. Cutting has a ceiling. You can only cut to zero. Generating has no ceiling. With $0 in your bank account, the most powerful move is adding $300 to $500 per month in income before touching your budget at all. What generates $300 to $500 per month without a second job? Selling services you already perform. If you clean your own home, someone will pay you $80 to $100 to clean theirs. If you can drive, delivery and rideshare apps generate $200 to $400 on 8 weekend hours. If you have any professional skill at all, writing, bookkeeping, design, social media, data entry, that skill has a freelance market. One $300 client per month changes your math completely. The extra income doesn't go to lifestyle. It doesn't plug budget holes. It has one job. It attacks the highest interest balance after your $1,000 firewall is funded. One targeted income stream plus the firewall plus the interest reduction. Now you have a system instead of a plan. Rule 4. Eliminate the restock cycle. Here's a pattern that silently kills most payoff attempts. People cut their budget, generate extra income, and direct it toward debt. Then they hit a restock moment. They're out of household supplies. The pantry is low. Toiletries need replacing. They spend $200 to $300 restocking, and the payoff momentum stops for another month. Restocking isn't overspending. It's invisible spending nobody plans for. Minimalists and people serious about debt elimination solve this by front-loading essentials. When you sell items to fund your firewall, a portion goes to building a 30-day buffer of household consumables, soap, cleaning supplies, pantry staples. Not elaborate, not excessive. Enough that restock moments don't derail your payoff momentum for 3 weeks. This sounds minor. Over a 1-2 month payoff period, preventing 3 or 4 restock derailments protects $600 to $1,000 in payoff momentum. That's 1 fewer month of debt. Rule 5. Sequence the payoff by psychological architecture, not just math. You have your firewall. You've reduced your interest rate. You've added income. Now you sequence the actual payoff. Here's what most people don't account for. Debt payoff is a long game. Math optimizes for minimum interest paid. Psychology optimizes for sustained effort over 12 to 24 months. If the optimal math strategy demoralized you and caused you to quit after month 4, the math was wrong. The sequence that works for most people in your situation is this. First, the card closest to having available credit. Not the smallest balance. The the one that gives you a breathing line. Partial availability on one card means the next financial shock has somewhere to land that isn't your other cards. Second, the highest APR card. Now you're eliminating the most destructive monthly drain. Third and fourth in balance order, smallest to largest. By this point, you have momentum, a visible finish line, and the psychology is working with you rather than against you. Each card you pay off eliminates a minimum payment. That freed minimum payment gets stacked onto the next card's attack amount. The acceleration is real. The final card often gets paid off in a fraction of the time the first one did. Rule 6. Never celebrate with spending. This is where people who successfully pay off debt rebuild it within 18 months. Every milestone feels like a reward moment. First card done, that calls for a dinner out. Halfway there, that calls for a weekend trip. Final card closed, that calls for something significant. These rewards are real. The progress deserves acknowledgement, but the reward cannot be spending that creates new debt or depletes your momentum. Reward with experiences that cost nothing, with rituals that mark the moment without reversing it, with a visual record of what you've done. The spreadsheet that shows zero where there used to be $6,000 is a more satisfying reward than a dinner that costs $150 and leaves nothing behind. The people who pay off $20,000 and rebuild $18,000 within 2 years didn't fail at debt payoff. They failed at redefining their relationship with reward. They still believed that spending was celebration. Minimalists who eliminate debt understand one thing deeply. The freedom on the other side is the reward. The option to make choices based on preference rather than financial necessity. The ability to absorb a $3,000 emergency without it becoming $4,500 of debt. The month where your paycheck stays in your account because nothing is demanding it. That's worth more than any dinner, any trip, any purchase that felt like acknowledgement. Here's your sequence for this week. Walk through your home today. Identify $1,000 worth of items to sell. List them this weekend. Monday, call every card issuer and request a hardship rate reduction. Ask specifically for their temporary reduced rate programs. Before the end of the month, identify one income stream that could generate $300 to $500 per month on hours you currently spend unproductively. You don't need more money to start. You need a different sequence with the resources already surrounding you. The debt got built over years. It comes down faster than you think when you stop solving it in the wrong order.